right. Hello. Okay. Lovely evening. What's with Dovydas? Maybe we should join. Let's see. Oh, I remember that. Oh my God. Wow, I love that song. Maybe, hold on. Okay. I just had an idea. It's funny, it came so fast. Okay. Hey, Johanna, how are you? Good to see you. All right, it's been a while. And we got John over here too. Yeah, John and I were hanging out at Dovy's thing. But yeah, I just heard that song from The Exorcist. Tubular Bells. Let's see, Tubular Bells, the Mike Oldfield story. Oh yeah, he was really something. He was a bass player, actually. Well, I don't know, not just a bass player, but among other things. All right, I've got to cross my legs so I can lift my neck up, and it won't hit the sofa arm. Okay. Let's see. All right. Bum, bum, ba-da, bum, bum, ba-da. Wow, that's hard. Is the bass way too loud? Is the bass way too loud? Here, let me move this closer. How's that? Is that better? I think I'm too loud. Oh, bass is low. Okay. Thank you. All right. Bass is low. I'm gonna loop this. All right, let's see. All right, give me a. Uh, ah, that's it. Mm. Wow, I think I did. Okay, well. Oh, well, I proved that I couldn't do that. Ah, man. Yeah, Mike Oldfield, I think he was 16 when he wrote that or something like that. I believe it was 16. And he has a story on it. Let's see. It says full version. I was listening to a story from Richard Branson, who is the Virgin Atlantic guy. Well, it turns out Richard Branson, the first thing he did, or one of the first things, was he started a recording company. And he was 19, and he guess he had a rich aunt or uncle, a rich aunt who charged him like double the going rate in interest. But she bought him a manor in England, and they turned it into a studio. And this kid comes along with a little 3-inch tape, and he said, we put it on, and well, now I have a company that's going into outer space because of it. So something like that. I mean, Virgin Atlantic, Richard Branson's whole story came from this song, which is the theme song for the movie The Exorcist. Cool. Turn bass and mic up. Okay, huh? Oh my God. I just realized what I did. Sorry guys. I'm talking to you completely unplugged. Okay. Alright. What a dummy. What a dummy. Alright. Okay. Let's set this up. And we gotta do that. And we gotta do this. And we gotta do this. I'm back. Okay, well, let's go outside. Shit. Alright. Alright. Oh man, hold on. Well, I guess I'm gonna sit outside and drink coffee. All right, well, tomorrow night, we'll be back. Nah, the mic won't work, so we'll just do coffee with Joe. Sitting outside on the porch, and there's the pool. Yep, we're outside, and I'm in Florida, so it's nice and cool. It's perfect. It's not too hot, not too cold. This morning it was like 60, and I went outside, went and walked a couple miles on the beach in the wind. It was exhilarating. Anyway, I will be back at home tomorrow night. We'll be live streaming in full fidelity with Joe Sr., Christine Sr., Bix the Greyhound, and Lionel T. Cat on the keys. All right. And if there's anyone here that is not a subscriber, please do subscribe. So since we're here and there's no music to play, you might as well ask me some questions. Anything you want to know about, the bass, music in general, life in a musical family, what it's like to be Dovydas' bass player, one of the 3 JBs. Yeah, isn't that interesting? He's got Jack Berry, Johnny Barker, and Joe Bruno. That's right, and please read the rules. Is that for me? Anyway, let's see. What are all these things here? Mute microphone, save highlight. Cool. Well, did you ever feel pressured to be a musician? Yeah, I did. I really did. I had from 9th grade, I was in the bands, of course, from the 4th grade in high school, but I liked to hang out. Oh, thank you. I like to hang out in the art department, and turned out I was pretty creative. So I was really creative. So I even got myself invited to get a scholarship to go to the Ringling School of Art in Sarasota for free, with scholarship. And but I just felt like, well, gee, if I go to school to be an artist, then I won't be a musician. You see, I didn't have my adults weren't. They didn't tell me that. Well, if you go to school to be one thing, it doesn't mean you don't have to be a musician. I didn't have to go to school to be a musician, so I should have continued the art thing, and I would have still been a musician. But it ended up sending me off to the Navy, because 6 months into going to college for music, I realized I sucked at being a music student. And then the teacher, the department head, she says, you're not going to learn how to play here, because it was a community college. She goes, we prepare people to be teachers. and then you will teach someone to be a teacher, and then they can teach someone to be a teacher, and so on. So I got it, and then I had a crazy idea to join the Navy or to go audition, and she thought it was a great idea. She said, yeah, you can actually learn to be a musician if you do that. So that's what I did. But still, I could have gone to art school. And yeah, so, but no pressure to be a musician. I was a musician because my whole family were musicians. You know, it's like if your family's all farmers, no problem. There is no pressure to be a farmer. You are a farmer. It takes pressure not to be a farmer, if you know what I mean. Because the easy thing is to just do what your family does. And anyway, so that's it. So it's like I could have gone to school for marketing, but I didn't know what marketing was. All I could do is play bass, you know. And anyway, any other questions, you know, on anything, you know? Again, what it's like to be in the musical family, play with Dovydas, what it's like to play a 7-string bass, why do I play a 7-string bass, why do I play a 5-string upright, why did I get my upright painted, you know, how did I start playing upright? I had no questions. Anyway, well, the reason I started playing upright was when I was in the Navy, they had, well, what got you, thank you, Don, what got me into the upright? When I was in the Navy, there was a sale going on, and the supply corps was getting rid of a bunch of stuff. So I went to the sale because I was in supply, and the chief said, hey, you might see some, you know, some stuff to do your electronics work. And I go there, and there were 3 upright basses. One of them was really nice. So I said, how much for this one? And they said, well, $100. You know, and that was back in 1979, I guess. And I said I was with the Navy band. They said, oh, well, the band, they can just have it. Right? Well, stupid me. I should have went and just paid the $100 because I got it for the band. I'm thinking, oh, it's free, you know. And I just played it. And that's it. It was like my upright. And I got it fixed up. Navy paid for it. And it was, you know, it was really good. When I got out of the Navy, I said, hey, can I buy this bass for $100? They said, no, we're not allowed to sell it. It's in inventory. I said, yeah, but the supply corps was selling it. And they said, well, you should have bought it then. Anyway, so that's what got me into the upright. And I went on the road without an upright. And I didn't have room for it in my car anyway. And every once in a while, every year or so, I would find an upright. Somebody would let me try it out, or I'd buy it, and they'd be $300 or $400, and they wouldn't sound good, and so I would sell them or give them back. And I had probably 4 uprights that all sounded terrible, because again, I wasn't an upright player. And then I don't know how long ago, about 1990, about 30 years ago, this man named Dick, he
saw me playing my electric bass, and he says, you know, I've got an old upright in my closet, and I'd like to, I'd like you to have it, but you got anything you can trade me for? And so I had that black Spectre, and I said, yeah, I got this black Spectre, and so it wasn't black at the time, it was like wood grain, and it initially was black, and then I took the black off, and because it was all gouged up. But anyway, so I gave him that bass. He gave me this old bass, and it turned out the old bass was like old. It was 175 years old, roughly. It was a Czechoslovakian bass, and around 90 years or so later, you know, the bass was easy to play, but it had a vibration on the inside. I found out it was the bass bar, and it was broken, and it was a major deal. So about a year after I had it, I'm talking to a well-known drummer, Tracy Alexander, in Orlando, and he says, you know, I was telling him about my old bass, and he goes, you know, my friend Mike, he's looking for an old Czech bass. And so anyway, he and Mike show up 2 weeks later with the Pullman, with the bass I have now, and we swapped straight for it. And it turned out that old Czech bass, he invested $6,000 into it, I think, to get it in shape, and he ended up selling it for $11,000 because they said it died on the operating table, and the Pullman had a broken neck, but it was still working, and the neck lasted probably 6 years before it finally gave way. And Pullman actually sold me a neck, sent me an unfinished neck for with just the scroll done for $400, and this is like a $5,000 neck. And then I had a furniture company finish it, put it in luthier, put it on my bass, and there you go. And I have this bass, and the neck was built for my hands, and so the strings are closer together, and it's just so easy to play. And I just really applied myself over the last 5 or 6 years, or 10 years. I don't know, a long time. How many years? Yeah, about 5, 6 years, 7 years. I've been playing upright 3-4 days a week, and I'm getting a lot better at it. So it's really cool. I mean, I'm not a quote trained upright player, and so when I do my upright videos, of course, I tell everyone I'm a hack, and did take a couple of good lessons on it from the right people, and learn the right stuff, you know. But when it comes to playing by ear and reading and doing shows and symphony stuff, I can, yeah, it's pretty interesting. People go, wow, I didn't know you played, you know, because I really play it. I play it well. You've heard me, you know. And but I've got a lot of fire. I got a lot of passion, and so that's a really good place to be. I've been doing a lot of practicing this week. Gosh, I must have done 2 or 3 hours of practicing today. Damn, I wish I practiced that Exorcist thing. That would have been fun. Oh, that's what I was playing. I was playing, well, you guys couldn't hear me. I was playing the bass line to the lead line to the Exorcist. Yeah, but yeah, I get a lot of passion, and in my new recent finding back in 2018 was that my family has been playing jazz. I thought they started in like the 50s or 40s or 30s. No, they started in the 1914. So yeah, and basically at the beginning of the jazz period, that's when my family started playing music. or started playing jazz. It's just that jazz was the popular music. Let's see if I can set the phone up. There you go. I'm leaning it up against the coffee cup. Yeah, and yeah, so yeah, 1914. That's a long time. And my great grandfather was a trumpet player, trained in Italy, came over to the U.S., got a job at Mason and Hamlin, this piano builder, and he was a finisher on Mason and Hamlin pianos, which are like about as good as the Steinway. And as a matter of fact, Christine, my wife Christine, plays a Mason and Hamlin that my grandfather actually worked on. It's pretty cool. Yeah, we when we were having the key tops replaced, and we pulled the keys out, we saw the writing. He was the key guy. He put the keys in, and I'll bet you I was looking at his writing on the back of the keys with the numbers. You know, it's pretty cool. Anyway, but yeah, so that's what he does. That was his main job, and he played music, and he had 3 boys and a daughter, and they all played in his band. And then his oldest son was my grandfather, Tony, and my grandfather got inspired and just started a music business, and he kind of took over the music business and ran the band. And then his father, my great-grandfather Rocco, played in the band with his son Tony. And Tony's brothers, Joe and Peter, and his sister Carmela, she was a piano player, singer, and whenever he wasn't playing piano. And yeah, I mean, he quit school in the 6th grade, and he became like an icon in the Boston area for many years, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. So what's that? 60 years. And when I came down to Florida, and I was down here in the 80s, I'll never forget the day he died. I was at a restaurant that was close to my house. I was feeling really bad, and this guy was sitting next to me, and he says, boy, how's it going? And I said, oh, so, you know, my grandfather just died, you know. Tell me about your grandfather. And I told him. He started crying because my grandfather played his wedding in Boston. And true story, you know, to be sitting next to a guy that, and the night that he died in bed. I was playing a job at Ocean Reef, which is right just south of Miami, and I was playing for a contractor who knew my grandfather, and most of the guys in the band were from Boston, and they knew who he was, or they worked with him, and they were all saying, "Oh man, you're Tony's grandkid! Holy cow! Oh yeah, you know." And they were all telling me stories, and so I couldn't wait to go back and tell my grandfather that I played with all of his pals, you know. And but again, that's so. And I, you know, got the call, like, you know, as soon as I got back. Actually, it was my roommate who had, you know, they had called my house, and my parents called my house and told him. So anyway, he told me. But yeah. So in his funeral, we went up to Boston, and his funeral, or his wake, lasted 3 days, and then the 4th day was the funeral. Most wakes are an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and but they ran it for 3 days, and on the 4th day it was a family viewing, and then we did the funeral procession, and but at the altar, you know, where the casket was, there were flowers from the royalty of the music business. You know, like Sinatra, Tony Bennett, Sammy Davis, they all sent flowers. And Yeah. On the fourth day, he didn't rise. No. Anyway, he went and the hearse. They put the casket in the hearse, and my grandmother's brother owned a limousine service. So anyway, he was driving the limo we were in, and no, actually no, he was driving the one with my grandfather and with my grandmother. That's right, and but we were in one of his limos, and we stopped in front of his house for like 5 minutes, and it turned out they blocked off a road that was about 2 miles long, and it was like a military thing. I mean, it was big, and so yeah, the procession was 2 or 3 miles long, and then we all went to this big church, overflow crowd, and it was the first time the church ever had a band in it, a Catholic church, and yeah, it was a really big thing. But yeah, my sisters and I weren't part of my grandfather's universe. It was a bit different than ours. Pop is so easygoing, and he's still I don't know. Everyone calls him the enforcer. And but my granddad was he was a conductor. He had the baton, and he played piano, and he played the vibraphone, the xylophone, the marimba. He had all these instruments. He played trombone. He did a show where he played tubular bells, like the song that I was just doing, and but he would play all these different instruments. That was his thing. And anyway, yeah, my dad was very, very easygoing, though, or is very easygoing. He always has been. And he was the one in the family, though, with the really, really good ear. And everyone else had to practice, but not Pop. So I was around him more than anybody, and so yeah, my sisters got the ear, and their vocals were just, off the charts. They could sing at young ages. Debbie was playing in rock bands when she was in her early teens and gigging, in her mid-teens. And my sister Ann was playing at coffee houses when she was 12. And yeah, and the voices on both of them was just unbelievable. And Debbie was also first French horn in Allstate, so she was really something on the French horn. And went to Berkeley School of Music, got picked up in her first year, went on the road, and Ann used to play trumpet in the band, and what made me finally start singing? Well, let's see, 2 years ago, December 21st, I was playing a gig in Bradenton, and that day it was cold, and the leader calls me up, and he goes, we had, I hate this, I forget the guy's name. He played keyboards with Casey and the Sunshine Band. Oh, I hate this, I can't. Anyway, he couldn't play because it was too cold, and he was going to be the singer, and so anyway, the leader asked me, do you sing? I said, oh yeah, because I think he was going to cancel the gig. He said, oh yeah, I sing. And so I went to the store on the way to the gig, and I bought a phone holder, and I attached it to my stand. And I just, do you know this? Oh yeah. That's what I do. Yeah. Oh sure, no problem. Learned that from my dad. And if I heard the song and it wasn't too rhythmic, I could play it, and so or I could sing it, and we just started singing. And then when we did the song, what the hell was it? You Send Me. somebody requested the song You Send Me. I said, Joe, You Send Me? He's like, sure. And I played behind other singers that kill it, so. Boom, darling, darling, you. And I started singing, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, we were all going, holy crap. And then they had some karaoke tracks where I didn't have to play bass, and then, bam, I could sing anything as if I wasn't playing bass. And so in 40 years of playing and trying to sing, I didn't know that I had trouble singing and playing bass. And that's why I wasn't a good singer for 40 years, because I always had the bass getting in the way. So, but I figured it out. I broke the ice singing, and then I put the effort in on the bass. And so now when I practice, I actually practice singing and playing bass. Hey, Sofa, how you doing? And my goal is to be a great singer, and it just takes time. Again, I can't memorize songs because it's not my wheelhouse. It's not what I do. If I memorize songs, I feel it'll hurt other things. So I just sing a song until you know it. What was I doing recently? There's a Frank Sinatra song called Swinging to the something. I forget the name of it, but it was a song that had some strange chord changes in it. And when I was driving around yesterday, or 2 days ago, had to go back to Sarasota, I put that song on and listened to it for about an hour and a half. Because I want to be able to play and sing it at the same time next Monday at the Friendship Center for the guy who requested it. Because, requests are real important to my family, to everybody. We love to do requests. And, uh-oh, now it's in your head. Yeah. Let's see here. I'm gonna flip this song sideways. Let's see what happens with it. Nope, can't do that. All right. I was just trying to see what I could do, because it would be nice to be able to look at the. I'm okay. Well, yeah, I do that too. I try to get creative. Joe, what's your favorite song of all time? Well, it used to be the song that Willie Nelson wrote. I'm sorry, Ray Charles wrote it. You Don't Know Me. And first time I ever heard You Don't Know Me, Kenny Loggins was singing it on the Loggins Comes Alive soundtrack. Hey, Blackjack. So anyone coming in right now, I cannot see who's there. I can only see you for about 10 seconds after you do it. Joe, I bought a trumpet. Any tips for beginners? Any tips for beginners? Put a pencil in your mouth, like right now, on the eraser end, and long pencil, and smile. Just do this. And see how long you can hold that pencil there. And the pencil's going to start to go. It's going to start to do that. And that's how you develop the muscles. It all starts out here, even though this is the important stuff. But that will do it. That's how you learn. That's how you build your tuba chops. Because I went from being a trumpet player to a tuba player. Cold turkey. Okay? So anyway, that's the first thing to do. And then just buzz the mouthpiece. And pick your favorite YouTube video and play it 3 hours a week to start with. And then, I don't know, if you can play it at least 3 hours a week. Uh-oh. Yeah, that will get you going. But if you really want to get serious, again, 3 hours a week is the pain level when you're first starting out. and then over time, again, keep doing the thing with the pencil. Like, do that for like 10 minutes. You can't, trust me, you can't do it in the first few days for 10 minutes. But just do it as much as you can until your face hurts. And 3 hours a week minimum. And then maybe after the first month, just kick on every week, just do an extra hour and practice scales. Reason why is all songs are built on scales and the patterns of the scales. Ba-da, like a ba-da da 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 da, and it's the B flat scale. Yeah, it's funny, Nick, when Nick was growing up, he got, every summer he would learn a new wind instrument. And definitely do not use power tools or heavy objects on your trumpet. Definitely don't do that. Okay. Funny thing is, I don't know why it's not an A sharp. Again, I don't know why the B's flat and the A's not sharp. It's interesting the way that they do the wind keys. The wind keys are the flats, and the string keys are the sharps. Guitar tunes are in the key of E, A, D, G, and B. And same thing with a lot of, symphonic tunes are in every key, but fiddle tunes and so on. Hey, Billy the Kid. Okay, here come the caps. No caps. Anyway, so they have a thing called a circle of keys, right? And some people call it the circle of fifths, and some people call it the circle of fourths. If you're a brass player or a wind player, it's the circle of fifths, because it goes, well, I don't know if it's actually it's a circle of fourths, and then C, G, and then the sharps are fifths because they go up in sharps. C, and then G is one sharp. D, which is a fifth higher than G, is two sharps, and just keep going up a fifth. Right, and then and again, it's, don't ask me, and then, but it's the same circle. All you have to do is you go, C is up top, G's here. I'm sorry, here, I'm doing it backwards. G is here, that's a fifth. D, it's another fifth. A's another fifth, and so on, And then the circle of fourths goes this way. And you start with C, then F, that's a fourth. B flat, that's another fourth. E flat, that's another fourth. In every key you add a flat, add a flat, add a flat, add a flat. And a fourth is what the strings go up on a guitar. E, A, D, G, they're all fourths. And my bass is tuned in fourths. So I call it the perfect calculator. Because if I go, I can do fifths, but I don't. Joe, what's the hardest instrument you've ever played? French horn. Piano. Piano. Hardest wind instrument is French horn, and the hardest woodwind would be oboe, which I don't play, or English horn. There's a lot of, it just depends. If you work at it, someday you could have perfect pitch. Actually, perfect pitch, according to the experts, these, if any of you all are, going to have kids, or you have a kid that's like less than a couple years old, you can actually teach them perfect pitch. Nick was listening to music from the time he was, before he was born. Christine used to always play music in the bedroom, and then when he was, right after he was born, we had cassette tapes that we would play next to the crib, and he could sing before he could talk. I mean, he did not, he did not do more than just some words until he was like a year and a half, 2 years old. And but he could sing. And so the cool thing is, he has perfect pitch, and we always play, hey, what key's this song? You know, he knows the keys of all the songs. Yeah, but anyway, it's something I didn't know until I watched Rick Beato. And Rick Beato learned that, and he learned it before his wife had a baby. And so he taught his son not just the notes, he taught his son the chords. When his son was 8 years old, Rick would go G minor 7 flat 5, bum 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 bum, or something like that, bum 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 bum, and he would sing the notes and tell you what notes they were, and he'd be in pitch. Yeah, he's a beast. But anyway, look for that video on Rick Beato, Perfect Pitch for Kids, or something like that, and you will be absolutely blown away as he proves that it works. And I have a feeling that you can teach somebody relative pitch, and that is pitch of one note related to another. So if somebody plays a C, then I can hear any note. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as I hear the C. So what I did is I taught myself a note, and my note that I taught myself, somebody told me, learn a note, get good at that note. And so as a bass player, the note you usually ask for is give me a G. And that's the note you'd always heard. So I have to think now, because I have to get all these notes out of my head. I think that's a G. So I would just have the note in my head, I'd put a song on, and I would relate the song to my G, and I'd be able to tell you what song it is. Joe, I know you do online teaching. What does it cost? I usually get like $75 an hour. And 40 a half hour. That's what Christine and I charge. It doesn't matter whether it's face-to-face or online. And I go overtime a lot. So as a trumpet player, I have to get good at B-flat. Again, you have to just be able to play to scale and get used to hearing the intervals of the notes. There's this useless word. It's called a tetrachord. A tetrachord is, I don't know what it means, but that's what they call the intervals of the first half of the scale. The B-flat scale has, actually any major scale has a major second, so that's a 2, and then another major second, that's a 2, and then a minor second, and that's a 1. So like da da da, that's a 2, 2, 2, that's the 1, da da, right? And then another 2, and that's called a bridge, and then da 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 da, and there's another 2, 2, 1. So 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, and that's a major scale, and that's how the steps are arranged. Frets are half steps on a guitar, so it's easier to learn on a guitar than anything. And that's why if you learn tabs, just learn them to the scales. That's it, only the scales. And that way you'll understand at least that one thing. It's just fingering. So you can change key, go up a half step, boop, play the same thing. You know, I tune my guitar in fourths so I can play one chord and use it anywhere in the neck, because the way the guitar's tuned, the last 2 strings are tuned, instead of going to a C, it goes to a B from the G. Anyway, Rita, how are you, Rita? All right. Anyway, yeah, we're just talking about what makes things tick in music. here's a cool thing. Like Dovydas, first time we did a rehearsal, which would have been August 2015. I'd never rehearsed with him. I only did gigs. And wow, you really, you got COVID? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh man, bless you. All right, hang in there. Ah, man. What was I saying? Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a real shaker there. That, man. Anyway, I don't know. What was I talking about, Don? Seven. It's 7 day in. Wow, 7th day? Okay, well, just. Man, just hang in there, okay? Man. Wow. Yeah, I know. We're worried down. Where do you live, Rita? Thank you, Don. I just remembered. Yes, I just got to find out where Rita lives. Colorado. Oy. Okay, it's cold there. Just stay warm, and you're in my prayers, okay? Anyway, let's see. So I was talking about Dovydas. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Dovydas is very high 60s. Oh, my God. That's like, it was 60 here this morning. Holy cow. But it was swimming weather this afternoon. I got COVID. The only symptom I had, loss of sense of smell and taste. Oh, okay. Oh, so you're in day 7 since they diagnosed it. Oh, okay. I lost my sense of smell 5 years ago after a colonoscopy due to anesthesia. I didn't lose it; it just changed. good things smell good. Bad things smell good too. That's interesting. Anyway. Oh, bless you. Thanks, Rita. All right. Again, we'll be praying for you. I'll let Pop and Christine know. Yeah. So Dovydas, he went to a high school for music, and he was so into it. He really studied and he paid attention. And so the first rehearsal that we had with Sammy and me, he says, "Okay, this song starts on the subdominant." And I went, "Are you shitting me?" Excuse the French, but subdominant is what the blues musicians call the 4. and it was really cool. I said, "So I guess that means you went to college, school? Where'd you learn music?" And he said, "Oh, I went to a music high school." I said, "Oh, that's awesome." And yeah, so anyway, but yeah, it's really cool playing with a rocker that knows music. And the more you know about the fundamentals of music, the further you'll go musically. The more original you can become because you understand what you're playing and you understand what other people are playing. And you know what you like. That's a really big key. I know what I like when I'm playing bass. And gosh, man, I mean, that Exorcist thing, when I was playing it, I started playing it, and it's like, that was literally my ear talking to my fingers. And but I couldn't do it. As soon as I started to think, then I started crashing. But fortunately, I managed to get the loop down at least one time, and it was pretty good. Yeah, music is a universal alien language, definitely. Play with a band all Hawaiian drum. Yeah, well, yeah, a lot of people do that. And, well, yeah, when you're synchronized, that means you're doing what you're supposed to do. Yeah, the one thing I don't do, or I choose not to do, is play with people when they're stoned. Stoned is great when you play by yourself or you're writing songs. Um, not again, not for me. I don't. That's not my thing. The reason why I say that is because a person, in most cases, cannot communicate when when you do that thing they do in Colorado, that legal thing. Okay. Anyway, um, or California. Where do you live, Sofa? Anyway, um, yeah, but when I have a video, I think I still have it of the Dr. Dave band. It is. I have it. It was. I took it on the on my uh, Zoom camera, and it was of this gig we did. And I took a video of the band doing 3 sets, and people were buying the band Jaeger bombs or Jägermeisters because it was birthdays and stuff like that. And the first set was great. The second set was okay. The third set, it wasn't good. And this was a really good band. So yeah, the one thing you can't do is drink and play, even though there are people that do it and they sound fine. Unfortunately, those people aren't around anymore, right? So I'm just not a big proponent of the drugs and rock and roll part. I don't think I just don't think, it's like if you want to be a fireman, you got to really be on your toes or else you're going to die, right? If you want to be an accountant, you got to be on your toes or someone's going to get audited by the IRS and you're going to be sitting in the courtroom testifying, So, yeah, it's good to have your wits on. Those who treat music with respect get respect back. I really believe that. Oh, no talk and chat. Okay, well, I'm talking against it. Okay, all right. So anyway, so the Dovydas is 100% clean. He works out 2 hours a day, drinks water. Uh, drinks water, no ice. Doesn't smoke. He hasn't. He really doesn't. Neither does Nick. That's a cool thing too. Yeah, Nick. For a while he drank beer. I remember when he turned 21, and I bought him a beer on his 21st birthday, and he took like 3 sips, and that's it. But yeah. So anyway, it's really there are people like that. My cousin Jack played with Tina Turner and all these big stars, Elton John and Joe Cocker, played drummer. He stopped drinking in 1978. So he said they were running hard when he first started playing. It was like 69, 70 in Haight-Ashbury. All that time, Joplin, Hendrix, he was there. And they were all getting trashed constantly. So just not a good place to be. You want to be serious about music. There's just no place for it. Okay. So thank you, Don. Thank you. I go off of my rants. So working with Dovydas is it's really a cool thing. Let's see, but you feel Dovydas does not improvise melodies. He just kind of goes with the notes. And believe it or not, everything he does is improvised. I would like you, Sophie, if you could, or any. Oh, wait a minute. Go to the videos from 2015, 16, 15 and 16. And go and listen to the songs where we're not going ding 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 that aren't blues tunes, or not I Have a Dream, if you know that one, and in the Russian tune, what's it called? Dangerous Criminal. Yeah. So, but anyway, listen to those songs, and you will hear Dovydas, the Dovydas band, completely improvising complete songs, completely. And I've got I just remembered, on one of my computers, on my home screen, what do you call it, in my desktop, I've got a download off the board of a completely the first gig we did at Banner Elk, all improvised, and it was fun. And there's one video where I'm playing my 7-string, and it was a funk tune, and that song was a spontaneous creation. Yes, that's right. and started off with Dovydas playing a beat like and then Sammy came in, then Allen came in, and then I listened to the 3 parts, and I invented a bass line, like boom, like where you just start playing, and as you're playing the bass line, that's it. You have to listen to what you're playing, and then you have to repeat it throughout the whole song and do different versions of the bass line. And so anyway, but yeah, that was tell you what I'll do. I will, one of these nights, one of these days, I will listen to the old Dovydas videos I've got that I've saved that are on YouTube, and I'll I don't know, I'll give you guys the dates, or whatever, the numbers. And but I mean, we did some really amazing stuff. Normally the first song of a night is made up. Last year, it was January, around the 25th. It was a week before we went to the International Blues Challenge. We did a gig outside, Sammy Dovydas and I, and he was tuning up, and then he just hit an A, and played a chord, and then I played an A, and I'm tuning up, and all of a sudden he just started playing, and Sammy came in, and we're just playing it. We're playing, and that's probably one of my favorite sounding videos ever. But I think it was around January 25th last year. Okay, what was the good question? Oh, wait a second. If I put my finger on it, I think the question will come up. Joe, when will we hear a Joe original? I was just thinking about that today. Because I was watching a conference, okay, going off on a Joe story. I have a friend named Chris Musgrave. And Chris Musgrave, I met him when he was 30. He was about 31, 32. And I decided he was the smartest guy I ever met. Because he said so much. He sounded like he was completely full of it, the way he just dished stuff out at you. He owned this recording studio, and that's when I met him. He's showing me around the studio, and it was in an industrial park, and it was really neat. And the guy that owned all the equipment in the studio, or most of it, his name is Bud Snyder, and Bud was the recording engineer for all the original Allman Brothers music, and Bud and I were friends, and so it was cool seeing all of Bud's gear, and because I'd recorded at Bud's studio before that, but anyway, I just made friends with Chris, and I just loved what this guy knew. He would say, "Oh yeah, we were in the Bahamas. We built a studio for Prince, yeah, in the Bahamas," or somebody, somebody really big. And yeah, this guy knew so much about recording and digital recording and da-da-da. So he introduced me to Dickie Betts at the funeral of his bass player, Bruce Wabel, who was a friend of mine. and I was actually with Bruce like the week before, bought him his last drink, and anyway, that was a he killed himself that night because he got fired from Dickie's band because of too much partying, and and on the Harley Davidson 100th anniversary, Dickie's playing at the Harley plant in Wisconsin, and Bruce was playing at a Harley dealership in Bradenton at a biker bar, at a dealership function at a biker bar, and anyway, so I gave him my drink tickets. That's how but so I ran into Dick. I met Dickie. Chris introduced me to him. He says, "Yeah, this was probably your next bass player." It's like, wow, cool. I'm like going, "Oh my God, this is like a dream come true." Blah blah blah, and it just so happened that that week, like a couple days later, that's when I got my invite to join the Ringling Brothers Circus. So those two things happened. The planets aligned, and I had two great possibilities. And so I took instead of taking door number one, I took the cash because the Ringling gig was a really good paying gig, and it was for my wife and me, and I knew it would pay a lot more than touring around with Dickie Betts and Great Southern. But it would have been fun to take that gig anyway. But yeah, I got to talk with Dickie and hang out with him, and we, literally they were like gonna come and see me play. He said, "Yeah, I'm gonna go away, and then I'll be back after New Year's." It's like, great. Well, after New Year's is when I hit the road and went off to winter quarters in Tampa, and a guy named Pedro Arevalo replaced me in this blues band I played with called Howlin' Bob and the Intimidators. It was a power trio, great band. And so Chris and Dickie came in one night, and there's Pedro, not me. And yeah. So anyway, Pedro became Dickie's bass player, and Pedro also mentored Dickie's son Dwayne of the Brothers and Sisters band. And it's funny, I was sort of a mentor to Pedro too. So, but it's cool. Things turned out, and we had the most amazing time on the road with the circus. And Dickie retired, so either way it was a sort of a dead end, but not really. But anyway, Joe, you have mentioned Spiral Staircase. Oh yeah, Spiral Staircase. Yeah, that's a band that I played with off and on for about, how many years? 3 or 4 years. Started in 82, 83, and 84. Got with him for about 7-8 months, made $225 a week. Had to buy costumes with that, and then the leader and I, we loved each other, but he hated the fact that, well, anyway, he just didn't feel like he had control when I was playing bass. So he said, "I just don't think it's working out." And I said, "Okay, no problem." So I called the agent. I said, "Find me another band." And they said, "Okay, well, you guys find a bass player because the Staircase is my top band." It's like, okay. So they started auditioning bass players. And I was with the band for 6 weeks until they found a bass player they were comfortable with. And I left. And the band pretty much fell apart, and then I came back. And then, after I came back, it was an amazing band. We were doing big conventions and lots of huge concerts, huge corporate date shows. And the drummer and the singer and the guitar player and the other singer, they were sisters, they didn't meet us. They didn't show up at the gig. They all quit. And so that was the end of the Spiral Staircase, 1984. And that's when I started my own group called Snafu, which was all ex-Navy band musicians, and that was an all-star group. Killer. great band, good times. But yeah, Spiral Staircase was great. Harvey taught me the most pertinent and important stuff about business. And I guess if I didn't know what he taught me, I probably would have made it. Because it kept me from taking chances. Um, I was just, wait, hold on. A PD video. Will you ever play the song we all recognize someday? It was just live PD video. Maybe you were. I don't know. No, I had an ego. I just had, my ego was off the charts. Totally off the charts. I mean, really. I knew I was in the background just smiling and playing the bass and singing backgrounds. But the way I play bass is I take little bits and pieces of everyone's parts and I integrate them into the bass line. So instead of me playing, boom, 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 I play doom, dup, doo, dump, boom, bump, boom, bump, bump, boom, because the drummer's going to and the guitar player's going to chick, and so on. Yeah, so I take bits and pieces of the guitar part and the drum parts, keyboard lines, and my fingers, my left hand just kind of follows them around. It's pretty cool. And ever learn XYZ? Nope, I do not learn the. Wait, is that the one that goes na 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 na? Is that the one in 7/8? I'm terrible with names. But I truly have not played a single Rush song my whole entire life. And Billy, if you wanted to, yeah, I know the song. And if I was with a band that started playing it, I would play it. And I probably wouldn't miss a note. I remember one of the only Aerosmith songs I hadn't done was Sweet Emotion. And maybe 5-6 years ago, I'm doing a top 40 gig, and the leader goes, "Okay, we're going to try Sweet Emotion." Right? Really? Okay. Do you know it? And I went, just give me a second. I closed my eyes, and I just started playing a couple of notes. And I just started playing the intro bass line. And then the drums came in, and I had no idea what I was playing. And then so yeah, I just, as a matter of fact, when I started talking about Sweet Emotion, I couldn't remember that line. But the way I keep things stored in my head is I just kind of drag a few notes out, and as soon as I start playing those few notes, then the song just comes out, regardless of whether I played it ever or not. And because I sub so much with bands, I don't practice with them. So, but anyway, yeah, I am a lazy bass player, lazy musician, and I'm all about pulling stuff off the first time. I really enjoy that. But I do know how to learn songs. And I really appreciate rehearsing for the first time. I just started appreciating it maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And the reason why is because I got hired to play in this one band, and they heard me sing background vocals, and they got hooked on me. It was a country group. And they had a Nashville singer and this really dedicated guitar player, all business, everyone's all business. They incorporated, and they're talking about playing at the biggest country joint in the area. And we went and met the owner, and I mean, holy cow, the thing's going great. And it turns out the drummer was on a power trip, and he nuked the band, and he nuked it 4 times. I was the fourth nuking, but the first 3 times he nuked the band, we kept learning new tunes, and so I decided one day that this band is never going to work, and I was with him for about 6 or 7 months. We rehearsed every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, because never in my life had I had a Saturday gig between 11 and 1. and that was the only time I could practice. And they needed my high vocal part. So I learned 60 modern country tunes. Jason Aldean and Dierks Bentley and, man, I mean, all Kenny Chesney. I mean, I can't even remember. My favorite song, Country Girl, Shake It For Me, had the most wild bass line. Great stuff. So, because my goal was to go to Nashville. I said, well, if I have these songs in my pocket, that'll be good. So, yeah, they got me into practicing. I sing the dance. I love the dance. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going to work out an arrangement of just Christine and me doing that. Actually, in Pop too. He's going to play the solo on it. Yeah, we actually, I think we may have played it already, about back in March or April, or whenever, in maybe my 4th or 5th video. I think we might have tried it, or maybe we just talked about it. But okay, put that on the. Don, can you save that as a request? Okay, who's that for? Yeah, I practiced it last night. I think I did better. Remember, when I practice, you all are with me. Let's see. Yeah, it's funny. As I was singing it last night, the whole family, that would be fun. That'd be great. But as I was singing it last night, it just kind of hit me that, darn, this song is so difficult. Dovydas must have practiced this thing a lot. Because, I mean, it's such a... I mean, I was speaking the words, and as I was speaking them, I was thinking to myself, wow, it's hard to sing this. I can't do that. But it's not hard. It just depends. I know, Don, if it's not hard for you, maybe you need to do a video of it. I mean, my 12-year-old bass student is I'm teaching it to her already. And I played the bass line for her, and I sang it, and I said, okay, learn this. And then what I did is I changed the key on it, because she's a girl, so I brought it up a 4th to E flat. And it's real easy for her because it's only 2 notes, but it's got the groove, that boom, 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 boom. And she bought a looper, so I sent you the long original. The long original, okay. You got to put the echo on. Oh yeah, I got to do a lot of stuff, man. Yeah, Dovydas. When those times came where we were playing those first time songs, just creating on the spot, he would take the same words and try them with different chord structures, melodies, grooves. I mean, the song "I Have a Dream," I have a dream late at night, by my side. That one, he had to have done that 10 different ways. But believe it or not, that was the first version of it. And it was really cool. we would just do one or two chords. Ba-dum, ba-boom, ba-dum, dum, 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 something like that. I have a dream, late at night, by my side, by my bum. Yeah, and yeah. So, but when you have a whole band that can go with your ideas real time, eyes closed, where everyone's listening, that's a big thing. One thing you do not do when you're doing instant creativity, you never look at each other. Never. Just don't. Trust me. Okay? Of course, unless you drank too much. Definitely you don't want to close your eyes because, you're going to fall over, right? But anyway, but yeah, you close your eyes and all of a sudden your ears open up and then you're connected on a higher level. Okay? The Eagle's Nest must have been a trip. We've been there, I don't know, 7, 8 times. We've played the Eagle's Nest more than any other club. When we first used to go there, we would play there 2 nights. And last 3 times we played there 1 night. And so, yeah, whatever. We must have had 10, 12, 14 gigs there. And they pay really well too. They take care of us, and how differently he did some of the songs. Yeah, you can hear differences. When we would rehearse for the International Blues Challenge, the first one, I'll never forget. He says, "Okay, here's the deal. We are only going to learn these songs 60% at the most. Okay, we're not going to do anything memorized. You just have to know what the chords are, the main concept, and that's it. And this is what we're going to do, but we might not. It might go longer. It might go shorter. Like this past year, he decided to throw a harmonica solo in Dangerous Man. And we actually added 2.5 minutes to our show. And so the last song, All About Elvis, lasted 2.5 minutes instead of 5 minutes. So, but we all knew it and we worked with it. So, yeah, I mean, that's a cool thing. When you rehearse and everything's note for note, there is no chance in hell you can win anything if you do a perfectly memorized show. It's great if you're an original group and you just recorded an album and you have a hit song. You got no choice. You have to do that song note for note for the rest of your life. Like if I played with Dickie Betts and he was playing One Way Out, I would be going bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum bum. Right? But 20 years ago, I decided I want to do that song. Boom ba dum ba boom ba dum ba boom ba dum bum bum ba bum bum ba dum ba da bum 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 ba dum bum bum ba da bum. I just wanted to bounce and dance around in the bass line. And so I do that, and you get a completely different groove to the song, and the song sounds so much better. But people don't want better. They want the same thing. And so that's, you got to take responsibility. You write a hit song, that's it. Yeah, Dickie Betts, he is a real creator. As a matter of fact, when I was at Chris Musgrave's studio back in 2002, I'd been hanging with him for a couple of years. He literally depended on me for stuff. The reason why I mentioned him was because he was running a conference with 5 other tour managers. He was Dickie's tour manager, and other tour managers. He does kids jam or kids rock. Anyway, a PBS thing. He on tour. He put their tour together, but he was Dickie's tour manager, and he also builds recording studios and sets up shows. Meaning he gets all the equipment and designs the systems for big concert rigs. So anyway, so I just was thinking about him, so I pulled him up on Facebook, and there he is. You know, because I remember when I ran into him like several years ago. Oh, I'll never get on Facebook. Well, there he was. He's on Facebook. And at the end of August, he put on a conference with 5 other people. And I was trying to get their names, you know, and I was paying attention. I listened to this whole thing. It literally went 2 hours, and they're all tour managers. But I didn't know with who. And there's this lady, her name's Jean. I think her name's Jean or Janice. Anyway, she was talking about it in Nashville. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go work the election. You know, that's what I'm going to do. And I got a gig. Yeah, it pays pays like $175. You know, that's good money, you know, especially in these times. Well, after the video's over, or at the end of the show, it shows everybody's name, so I'd screenshotted it, looked everyone up. This lady who is talking about working the election to make extra money was Guns N' Roses tour manager, and in 2019 she was Post Malone's tour manager. All right, so, and these people all respect my friend Chris, who I used to help out, who I always knew was the smartest guy on the planet, you know, and he convinced everyone he was too, I guess. But unfortunately, he doesn't live in Florida. Now he lives in Washington, and so anyway, actually, I was going to give him a call at the end of this vlog, because he's definitely a late nighter. And anyway, it's about time for me to get going, because I just realized I have to call him, and should have called him like earlier. But yeah, I'm going to talk to him about the this thing I want to do with low latency. He's the one that can make this happen, if he wants to, if he just wants to help. So anyway, good night, Billy. All right, thank you very much for being here, everybody. And remember, pack up all your troubles and just get happy. Chase all your cares away. Sing hallelujah. Just get happy. Get ready for that judgment day. That's right, January 20th. All right, you all have a good night, and thanks for hanging with me. Okay, and again, thank you, Ashar. Thank you, Don, for everything. Yeah, I really put you guys through the mill tonight, didn't I? Thank you, Rita. Again, you'll be in my prayers. Okay, so anyway, who else? Billy, Ashar, Don, Rita, and everyone else who's watching quietly. All right, and tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. Jesus, this is a good chance it's going to happen. Tomorrow night, I am going to be busking with Dovydas and possibly Sammy. No, I think Sammy has a gig. I don't know. I think he does. But anyway, there's a possibility. So I'll find out more tomorrow. So anyway, that's what I'm hoping. So, but if I'm not, then Pop, Christine, and I will be online tomorrow night. Or if we're busking earlier, Pop, Christine, and I will be online later. All right, y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.